Salutations, viewers. My name is GameDame, and welcome back to another one of GameDame Reacts. Now, this is a very long video. It's about 11 minutes long, give or take. Well, it's 10 minutes and 44 seconds, but I just rounded it up or whatever. However, I'm not exactly sure what this game is going to entail. So the game is called Dream Cycle, but it seems like that there's over 10,000 different levels. Now, that is awesome, especially if they're auto-generating. However, in my opinion, there should be quality over quantity. But it could be a good mixture, or it could be like different varieties. So I'm excited to see, or I'm interested to see what the difference is for the 10,000 different levels for this game called Dream Cycle. So without further ado, let's watch the Lara Croft creators' new game features over 10,000 different levels for Dream Cycle trailer. Because I'm very
Welcome
curious.
back to Gamescom Studio. Dream Cycle is a psychedelic adventure where players can slash, shoot, and loot their way through 10,000 very mysterious and crazy worlds. We've seen the brand new trailer, and I'll be honest, it left me with a lot of questions. So hopefully
That's
fill in some of those gaps. Is the game's creator, Toby Gard. Toby, welcome to the show.
Hello there.
Hello there.
So already in this one trailer alone, we see platforming, we see melee combat, there's a gun, a bow and arrow, psychedelic landscapes. What is this game?
Well, so the Dream Cycle is basically I feel like basically I've been kind of trying to make the same game for the last 30 years, but it's basically another attempt to try and capture that experience of going into like the mysterious unknown of the world, right? And part of that is the scale of it, right? And not knowing what you're going to find around the next corner. So it's truly a game of exploration and discovery.
Huh.
So
much like No
into the
Man's
actual
Sky,
gameplay,
which also
I'd love
has
to
an
know
insane
more
amount
about
of worlds.
our main character. Is it Morgan Carter?
Yeah, Morgan Carter, exactly. Yep. And then so the game is based obviously on the Dream Cycle stories of, or inspired by the Dream Cycle stories of Lovecraft. And so he wrote extensively about Randolph Carter, and Morgan is like the great grand niece of Randolph.
Interesting.
And what's her story? What's the whole reason for being in this situation?
So in the kind of Dream Cycle stories that Lovecraft talked about, he basically was envisioning the situation where there's the dream worlds that we kind of visit or glimpse in our dreams are real places, right? And so in the game, Randolph is the first person who ever returned to the waking world with physical objects brought back from the dream realms that we see that we collectively visit in our dreams. And so years and years after that, Morgan is an occultist who also travels into the dream realms and is exploring through those areas. And it's a really amazing the Dream Cycle worlds that Lovecraft came up with are really, really cool because they kind of have this endless quality to them. He's always throwing out these new areas. He'd be talking about the perfumed jungles of Cled or the vaults of Zin and so forth. And then he'd be talking about the strange beings that live there and what odd, things that they're trading amongst the other creatures.
Okay, that's
within
cool
the dream
and
realms,
all,
right? And it just makes this tapestry of the unknown that feels sort of endless. And it seems like
says
an
unknown
amazing
quite
place
often
to create a game and to be able to go adventuring, because it's the kind of place where you're never going to really run out of things to see or do, explore or find.
So we're going into this dream world to do some exploration. There's obviously some combat, some traversal, but what's the overall goal?
So Morgan is basically trapped in the Dreamlands. She's had her power kind of removed, and so she's sort of trapped, and so she's
okay. We got that.
After,
she's trapped in the Dreamlands.
She's trying to regain her power so that she can escape from the dream realm.
Okay.
She's stuck there, and at the same time, the dream realms have gone into some kind of cataclysm has occurred, and so she's having to deal with the fact that it's fragmented into a million pieces, right? And each one of these shards is basically an adventure that you can go on. And when the game releases, 10,000 of those shards will be available for you to play. But The whole point of the game is that it's supposed to be a portal for people to go on kind of these endless adventures. And so the goal of releasing it is to sort of continue to build on it, to bring new areas of the game out regularly, and to add 10,000 new adventures for people to be able to search through as the game goes on.
Well, it sounds very interesting. What causes a cycle to end and then start over? Is it when the player is defeated?
It's not so much that. I mean, so there are literally so there's 10,000 adventures. And
I'm
each
like
one of
just
them is
taking
like
all
a
this
legitimate
information in because I got
level's
some
worth of
things to
adventure,
say for
right?
sure.
And you're needing to travel across this map of the 10,000 shards, right, in order to be able to get to the different destinations where you've got things to be able to where you're following essentially your story threads. But what I really wanted from this game is to feel like it's not quite so you're just being handheld all the time. So you have the ability to be able to follow all sorts of different paths of your own. You can create your own subquests within that map, right? So you can say, I'm interested in this type of spell that I've picked up. Is there a way that I can, get an upgrade to it? So you can search the map for that and try and, pick a course that will take you to try and find that within one of the shards of the map. Or upgrades or different story threads. Each of the story threads that you follow can also give you different types of rewards and so forth, and give you backstory and move the plot forward. So it's just a very large space for people to be able to get that feeling of genuine exploration that is very rare in games, because games tend to be very manicured, right? Like there's a Disneyland feeling to a lot of games because they're an artist's impression of what it would be like to explore a real place. And what's happening in Dream Cycle is, using proceduralism, but proceduralism that's being kind of controlled by goals. The locations that are being made, they are genuinely unexpected, even for me, right? And often players will be the first people to go into those places and explore them and complete them. And that is what exploration is to me, I suppose. It's like being on the frontier.
Well, that sounds great to me. I would say exploration is like the thing I like to do most in video games. How big can we expect some of these levels or shards to be, and is there an average time you expect it would take players to complete one?
That's a good question, because there's 10,000 worlds.
Depends on the difficulty of the level, I suppose. There's as you travel across the map, there's areas of high difficulty and low difficulty, right? Low difficulty levels are faster to do, and so those ones are 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. The harder levels can be quite a bit longer, because you need there's more things to do, basically. So and part of the concept of this game, where there's just so many little shards, is that you get to pick and choose that, right? The player gets to decide, I've only got 20 minutes or something to play, so I'm going to do a reasonably easy level tonight, and it makes for the whole experience a little bit more like jumping into a multiplayer. It's like a session. It's not quite such a big bite-sized thing, you're not going into a massive adventure. You don't know how many chapters. I'm going to go on a quick adventure. I'm going to have a laugh, and that's going to be it for tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. And are you finding items or gaining new abilities that you'll be able to carry on to other shards?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're constantly upgrading your character and finding new abilities and finding new weapons, and then new perks. It's obviously, you've got the whole upgrade system, and she's got access to a whole bunch of different skills and abilities that you and the perks to be able to upgrade them, so that you can kind of hone your version of Morgan to play the way you want to play.
So do you expect once players start trying out these shards that they'll be able to map out like the correct path through them, like a Mega Man game, or do you think it's a little bit more open than that?
Well, it's totally open. I mean, that's the point. And like if you go the most direct route, then you'll see what other people have seen. If you stray off to the side, then you'll find places that perhaps no one's been to before. It's literally a game for explorers. And there's not a lot of games out there I'm a massive explorer for games, so No Man's Sky is one of the only ones to me that really gives me that feeling of, oh my god, I'm in a completely new place and no one's been here before, and it's really cool. And that's something that I want that experience in an adventure game, I guess, and that's not something that I've seen before, and that's what that's what Dream Cycle's trying to be.
So you're launching into early access. What kinds of content can players expect when they dive in?
So early access is, I mean, we really need to get.
It's good that
we
they're
really
having
need a
early
lot of
access for a
feedback,
game
or I need a
this
lot
in
of
depth.
feedback on how to make sure that these 10,000 levels have enough stuff going on in them for that chunk to be the right amount for the template for the ongoing updates, right? Because the 10,000 is just the first map piece out of 100 potential map pieces that could be released. Each map piece being kind of a new type of area, right? A new biome, or whatever you might call it, a new story thing. And so we kind of, the early access is because no one's really made a game like this before, and it's kind of very difficult to test.
I would agree
something
to
of
that. No
scale
one's
as
really.
well.
I mean,
So
they've made insanely
some,
open world games like No Man's
we need
Sky, but no one's really
community
made
to be able to
something
help
like this
help
in an
me
instance.
tune it,
But
turn it into
I
the
don't
right,
know, man.
the right thing for that one chunk, so that when we start bringing out new areas, it's got they will be the right type of content, right? Like the right number of enemies and the right number of the right amount of new story, the right amount of everything else, right? It's trying to find that mix essentially.
Well, Dream Cycle seems absolutely wild, very ambitious. I honestly can't wait to dive in.
I would agree. It's
Luckily, we won't have to wait
incredibly
long.
ambitious.
Dream Cycle enters early access on September 7th on Steam. Toby, thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, that's coming up. September
you're
7th
welcome. Thanks
is
for
the
having
open
me.
beta.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right.
So I have a couple things with this game. I do agree it's incredibly ambitious, and for how long it is and how massive it could be, you could pour hours and hours and hours of hours into this game. The only thing I worry about is this a streamable game, or is this a game that is more so for YouTube content? Because it's so massive, I think breaking it down onto YouTube would be a lot better than stream. For me, I look at a game that I'm able to play, that a lot of people can familiarize themselves with, that have played, or new people, and maybe not familiarize is the right term, but I just think this game overall is not something I'm necessarily interested in. Is it great to have games that you can explore it? Yeah, it's good to have like a few of those games like that, and those games are incredibly successful but have all had a rocky start, much like No Man's Sky, the one I keep referencing to. I don't think so far the gameplay looks that exciting. I think it looks quite boring, to be quite honest, but you are this one female trying to look for all these shards across these 10,000 universes, and that to me just sounds like so much work. I do like how they have changed the difficulty levels for each of the worlds. However, you could just go the easy route and just complete the game right then and there. But like, how many shards do you need to get from the dream cycle to go back into reality? So that begs the question, as well as I just think overall that maybe it's too much. As someone who streams and does YouTube full time, I do work a 40-hour job, but I try to put as much time into this as I can. I would never have the time to do anything with this game, and I feel like I would get very bored very quickly. And I need something that grabs my attention. I am more of a gamer that likes something a little bit more linear. I do have a few of those games that I just like to shoot, like Destiny 2, for example, but it's just, this game seems like a lot, and I don't know if it's something that's totally up my alley, but of course I'm just one person, and this could be something that speaks to you. So let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments down below. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I highly appreciate your time as always, but please do not forget to subscribe and or follow, not only to my YouTube, but to my Twitch. You guys know where my YouTube is at, but you can find my Twitch at twitch.tv/thegamedame. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.